President Trump is a man of action.
Let's start with China. What are some of the biggest challenges, no matter who the president is, but what are some of the biggest challenges right now that Secretary of State Rubio is going to be facing with China?
Well, look, I think one of the important things you're seeing, and President Trump, Secretary Rubio have talked about this, Secretary was talking about this just the other day, the unfair trade practices that we see from the CCP, the unfair trade practices that take advantage of the American people, take advantage of the American worker. And President Trump and Secretary Rubio have said, enough is enough. We're no longer going to have the American worker being taken advantage of. We're going to put the American worker first. So that's a massive problem that we've seen that we need to address, and President Trump is the first one to address it. And I think another important problem of many that we're dealing with is the flow of fentanyl. I mean, we're seeing fentanyl come across the border. Fentanyl is a leading cause of death for Americans aged 18 to 45. President Trump took action from the beginning of his administration to combat that flow, and many of the precursors of fentanyl start in China. That's where they start, and then they flow across our border through various means, usually with cartels. So we saw strong action from President Trump and at the State Department designating the cartels, or several of them, foreign terrorist organizations. So we're seeing strong action to address these issues.
It's interesting. I've done a host of stories about China. So whether it's the unfair trade practices, the fentanyl, the stealing our intelligence, stealing our technology. There are so many ways in which China is a top adversary. Why do you think it took so long for a president to kind of be tough?
Well, what I can say is that President Trump has been tough. He's been taking action from his first day in office, and really the previous administration when he was last in office as well. So what we saw is under President Trump's last administration, he started taking the steps. Unfortunately, we had a bit of a pause there for 4 years, but now President Trump is back in office, and he's taking steps from the beginning of this administration and will continue taking those steps again to address the flow of fentanyl, to address those unfair trade practices, to make sure that we're protecting our intellectual property. So President Trump is a man of action, and I think what I can speak for now is the action that President Trump, Secretary Rubio have taken to address a lot of these concerns.